So these days, AI writes a serious chunk of my code, the tests, the infrastructure, and even the marketing copy. And for a while, it felt incredible until I realized I was generating code faster than I could actually verify the code. It was faster than I could remember what changes there were, and I couldn't keep two agents from stepping on each other. So I stopped adding AI tools and I built one system to hold it all together. It's local first, it's on hardware that I own, and here's the whole thing: it's real dashboards and there's nothing staged. Quick context, because this only makes sense if you feel the problem the way I did. I run more than one product: Node and TypeScript, GitLab, and a whole lot of AI agents. And every gain in speed exposes a weakness somewhere else. New agent sessions started in dum-dum mode. They didn't know the decisions that we'd already made, so they'd reread the whole repository and then resolve solved problems. Parallel agents overwrote each other's work and then lost the handoffs. And the code was written, but I still couldn't prove if it was safe to ship. I had 5 different tools that are giving me 5 different reports, so there's no single answer. My CI, my security scans, and my evidence were all fragmented, and my business data lived in a completely different world from where my code lived. The thing that I wanted was not more AI. What I want more leverage without losing control of quality, security, knowledge, or the business. Now that's the whole goal. Everything after this is in service of that one sentence. So the system is one application with 3 jobs. Layer 1, the agents get a shared toolbox, reusable skills, code intelligence, and the memory. So any agent from any vendor starts a session already knowing the code base and the history. Layer 2 is a verification engine. It takes whatever the agents wrote and turns it into a single binary answer: pass or fail. Plus, we get signed evidence that I can hand to a client or an auditor. Layer 3, a shared brain and a command center. It remembers every verified outcome. It coordinates the agents so they don't collide. And it connects the engineering work to the actual business. So our leads, our content, and then the revenue. And the whole thing runs local first on a small cluster in my office. My code and my business never leave the hardware that I control. So let me show you each layer for real. Let's start with the part that fixed the amnesia problem: one shared brain. Every product, every agent, every pipeline reads and writes to the same store. So there's one database. It's partitioned per project. So there's no per tool silos. There's one source of operational truth. Now, when a new session starts, it doesn't begin from zero. The brain injects the relevant facts up front: prior decisions that it already made, fixes that already worked, failures we already hit. The fix already learned once becomes automatic recall instead of rederivation. And when an agent needs to find code, it doesn't grep the whole repo and burn tokens. It looks up the symbol in an index. The location, signature, everything that depends on it all comes in one query. Retrieval before repetition. Grep is a fallback, not the default. On a repo this size, over 1 million lines of code, that's the difference between an agent reading the whole code base and reading 4 lines. All right, guys, here's the one that I'm proudest of because it's genuinely hard. A couple days ago, I had agents from 3 different vendors and my local models all working in the same repository at the same time. And I'm talking dozens of commits in a day with no reverts, gates all green. Now, they were even fixing each other's mistakes instead of colliding. That doesn't happen by luck. Watch what's underneath. Every session registers itself: who it is, what model, what branch, and is it still alive? Before an agent touches a file, it files a claim. If two live sessions reach for the same file, the system raises a collision right here on this banner before they clobber each other. Bigger units of work use leases. An agent checks out a task, and a second agent literally cannot pick up the same one. Messages between agents are durable and acknowledged, so nothing gets lost in a chat window or gets compacted away. And when I need to reach every running agent at once, I just say, stop. The naming just changed. I type it here once, and it's injected straight into every live agent's conversation with an ACK ledger showing who received it. It's about 90 seconds, not I hope they'll poll. So really the point isn't the vendors. The point is that I'm not captive to any one of them. The coordination lives in my brain, not in someone's cloud. Now here's the part that actually helps me sleep. Nothing an agent writes gets trusted because it looks done. It has to prove itself. Every important change runs through a verification pipeline: tests, coverage, linting, type checks, security scanning, secret scanning, dependency and license checks, performance budgets, documentation gates, dozens and dozens of jobs. And it collapses to one thing: pass or fail, binary. When it passes, it produces signed evidence, not a screenshot, a signed artifact I can hand to a client security reviewer or investor and say, here, verify it yourself. That's the difference between assurance and evidence. Now here's a real failure. Watch what happens. A daemon I call Ralph notices the red pipeline. It looks up whether we've seen this failure signature before, applies the fix, and reruns it until it's green, running on a local model on my own hardware at basically zero inference cost. And this is the guardrail that matters. The repair is forbidden from weakening a test or lowering a gate to force a green. If it can't fix it honestly, it just escalates it to me. A self-healing loop that's allowed to cheat is worse than having no loop at all. So agents can build and the pipeline can prove it. The obvious next step is, hey, let's just let it run unattended. And this is exactly where most people get burned. And here's how I keep the brakes on. There's an autopilot that can take an approved spec, break it into packets, implement on each branch, run the pre-flight checks, push, and drive to a verified green pipeline using local models only overnight for free. But look at this. It's fail closed. Right now, unattended dispatch is off. The autopilot literally cannot arm itself. I flipped that switch by hand in a supervised run and not before. 24/7 capacity is only worth having if it can't run away from me. Same philosophy on the layer that lets the system improve on its own tactics. It runs measured experiments instead of just guessing, but nothing it learns gets promoted past a human gate. If there's no valid experiment to run, it refuses to run at all. And done here isn't a status field somebody can set optimistically. It's computed from what actually exists on the tree: the files, the tables, the symbols, across 150 specs. Artifacts are the only thing that I trust. So that's the system. 3 layers. The agents get shared memory and skills. The verification engine turns their work into binary proof with signed evidence. And the shared brain remembers everything. So that keeps the agents from colliding, and it runs the business off of the same source of truth. All local first, all recoverable and auditable, with a human holding every consequential switch. I'm building this in public. If you want to watch it evolve, the autopilot is going live, and the self-improvement loop, the marketing engine. Subscribe and stick around. If you're running your own AI first shop and you've hit the same walls that I did, the amnesia, the collisions, and the is this actually safe to ship question, tell me in the comments how you're solving it. I read all of those. It's half of why I post. Now in the next video, I want to go deep into the verification engine, every job, and the evidence that it signs. So I'll see you then.